PCT presents Public Report, a look at the issues and events of importance to our viewing area. Now, here's your host.
Hey, welcome to Public Report. My name is Pastor Rodney Hill, and I'm here today with Bryan Questelle, and he is the chairman of the board of directors for the Veterans Honor Flight of Southern Illinois. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Well, glad to have you, but let's just jump in this. What is Honor Flight?
Thanks for asking. Honor Flight is a national organization. There's 131 different hubs in the United States, and we take veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials free of charge. We've been focused in our local hub on taking the World War II and Korea veterans first, but we will eventually take Korea, Vietnam, and Gulf if necessary.
Okay, awesome. So now tell me, what is the thrust of wanting to take them? Because I understand, but maybe someone doesn't quite know, having a dad that was a veteran, how important it is for them to see the nation honor them. Is that one of the reasons?
That's absolutely one. And, you know, they oftentimes haven't got to see the memorials that were built in their honor.
Right.
So what we've taken on is to get them there, you know, because of expense and, you know,
yes,
time and all that stuff. And here they are advanced in age and they haven't gotten to see the things that were built for them.
Right.
So with that decision, we decided we want to take them there, make it a day about them, you know,
yes,
no
sir.
expense. We pamper them, we take good care of them, we show them the memorials. We go to the World War II Memorial, the Korea Memorial, Iwo Jima, the Navy Museum, the Air Force Memorial, and then we go to the National Cemetery to see a changing of the guard too at Arlington.
Awesome.
It is awesome.
So you're able to do this, and you do this at no cost to the vet.
Correct.
Which obviously, when you're dealing, like say, the World War II vets, there's a time factor.
Sure.
You want to get them there. Some of them are in poor health.
Yeah, and we don't discriminate. We do a health care check on them, but if their doctor says they can go, we'll get them there.
You'll get them there.
Yeah. The big thing with this is the expense. You know, people don't realize how much it costs. We charter an airliner
right.
to take these folks up there. So you're talking the last flight cost about $82,000.
Wow.
And we do that strictly on donations. So
awesome.
Trying to generate $80,000 to $90,000 per flight
wow.
in this area is some doing.
Yeah, that's definitely a strong task.
It is a strong task.
How many trips are you able to take a year?
We're taking 2 trips a year, one spring, one fall, and we do those for climate reasons. We don't want to be there when it's too hot. We don't want to be there when it's too cold. So we go in the spring and then we turn around and go again in the fall. Plus it gives us 6 months between to do our fundraising.
Okay.
And with the expense that's involved, that's necessary to have the time to do it.
Right, to recoup the funds.
Yeah, and we've gotten large donors, you know, some corporate donations that have helped, but mostly this is a grassroots thing.
Okay.
And we get, you know, folks that are just stepping up and helping as much as they can. Maybe it's $25, maybe it's $100, but each little bit counts, and we get to take one of those.
Every
guys
little
with us.
Bit is a teamwork.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's such a blessing for me. I consider it part of my calling is doing this, you know, and I can go into the story of how I got going down this path. Did a short tenure at the Veterans Home in Anna, Illinois.
Okay.
And I was the military adjutant there, and there's 62 veterans that live at that home. And I found out about Honor Flight being available, but we didn't have one close.
Right.
So I called the one in Indiana, southern Indiana at Evansville. I called the one at Springfield, which is called Land of Lincoln. And I called the one at St. Louis to find out if I could get these guys on a flight.
Right.
Well, the earliest they could do it was 2018. It just turned 2018.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, how can I get my guys on a flight?
Right.
And I went to a meeting at the Haven here in Southern Illinois, Veterans Coalition meeting, and met the airport director, Doug Kimmel, at that meeting, and he was there for the same thing. Think that wasn't meant to happen?
Yes, sir.
So we met that first day, had our first meeting in January. February 6th. We had our first meeting, just the two of us. He pulled in some more people. We started down this path. And 15 months to the day from our meeting, when he and I met, we took the first flight.
So the honors, the Veterans Honor Flight for Southern Illinois came about just out of your passion, and another person just so happened to be at the same meeting with the same purpose, with not knowing each other.
Had never met, but were there and sitting at the same table, side by side.
Wow, is that not providential?
It is. And I've just gotten the bumps to prove it. You know,
Yes, sir.
That's just the way it works. And I put it in God's hand at the time, and it's what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I had no idea how I was going to do it. None. I walked in there with no idea how this was going to happen. And then it did happen.
Right.
And it happened fast.
So the dream turned into a vision with plans.
Yes,
a
sir.
vision is a dream with plans to complete.
It happened so fast.
Right.
Because it was meant to happen.
Now, what year was this that you guys? Because 15 months from
Yep.
from the concept
January
that we could
25th,
do it,
2016.
and then you guys 15 months later did it.
Yep, April 25th, 2017 was flight number 1 from, and in that time, at Veterans Day of 2016, they renamed the airport here Veterans Airport of Southern Illinois.
Okay.
So we tied in our name, Veterans Honor Flight of Southern Illinois,
All right.
with the airport, and we coincided our flight with that new name change, and we tied everything together. So it is kind of a one entity flying out of Veterans Airport of Southern Illinois.
Okay. So how many flights have you guys had here in Southern Illinois?
2.
2 already.
Yep, 2.
And 2018 is here, and you're already planning.
We are planning for flight number 3, spring flight. We haven't set a date because we're still negotiating with the airlines. And like I said, expense-wise, it's expensive, and they've shot us an increase in price. So we're trying to work through that. And as soon as we have everything nailed down, we'll nail down that date, and we're shooting for April.
Okay. Well, let's stop right there and go ahead and give them their contact info, and then we'll revisit that later. So if someone would, let's say, want to help contact you guys, or maybe even pour into you.
Yeah, we have a website.
Okay.
It's www.veteranshonorflight.org.
Okay.
We have a phone number out here at the airport, 618-993-3353, extension 4.
Okay.
You can get a hold of us that way. We have a Facebook page, so you can check Veterans Honor Flight of Southern Illinois Facebook page.
Okay.
And then we have PayPal accounts, and you can go to a People's National Bank and just say, I want to donate to Honor Flight, and they'll put it in our account. So there's all kinds of opportunity to help out.
Awesome. I love the way that you've integrated all this together. And I tell you, you guys have really been on the ball. If you got all these institutions working together with you, where someone can literally just say, hey, I want to put this in there. The bank already has your information, put it in your account, and they know it's going to go toward helping the vets get to be visualize, not just visualize in their mind, but actually see some of the memorials. And they got some very beautiful ones.
Oh yeah, it's
awesome.
all inspiring when you get to go out there. And when we unload the first time at the World War II Memorial, and we unload 3 bus loads of veterans and their guardians, and a guardian is a person that spends the day with them, makes sure they're safe, makes sure they're healthy, and the guardians take care of the veterans for the day. That's their job. And we unload at the World War II Memorial, and we take a picture there at the memorial, and it starts the day off, and people start understanding, what this is going to be about. I can really tell you too, I don't like to let the cat back, but when we get to Reagan International, there's some things happening there. But when we get to the World War II Memorial, we start down the path of what our day is going to be like, and really celebrating our veterans.
That's awesome.
It is an awesome day.
Now, where did the people who are helping them, where do they come from? Are they coming with them, or is it someone you provide?
Well, both happen. Guardians do have a fee. They pay their own way for the flight, sort of. It's a flat fee, but we buy their meals and their flight and everything, and they get the opportunity to spend the day with the veteran. Sometimes it's a family member, a son, a grandson. That happens. Sometimes it's a daughter, or a granddaughter. Sometimes veterans are to the point where they don't have anybody that can take them, and then we supply them. We have a list of over 200 people that are signed up to go, that want to pay the way to go spend a day with a veteran.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
It is an awesome thing.
Yeah. Now, the gentleman that you work with, is he still involved, or y'all still?
Yep. The board consists of myself as the chairman. Vice Admiral Nancy Brown is the vice chairman. She's from here in Marion and Pittsburgh area. Randy Youngblood from Heron is the treasurer.
Okay.
His son Evan is our secretary, and then Doug Kimmel and Hope Patterson are both board members, and they both work at the airport. And Doug is the airport director.
Awesome, awesome. So you have really got everybody that is integral, not just by name, but actually literally by deed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everybody's got a, I'm the chairman of the board. So, I get to run the board meeting, and then when we go on a flight, I'm a bus captain.
Okay.
So there's 3 buses, and I'm the boss of the bus.
Right. Right.
Then we all have jobs that are assigned at the airport when we arrive. We have jobs during the day. We have jobs when we return. So there's 6 of us, and then just a litany of volunteers that it takes to make this happen.
Right.
And at the first 2 flights, we've had approximately 3,000 to 5,000 people at the return home ceremony at the airport.
Oh, now that's...
We get waving flags and playing bagpipes and bands, and
Yes, sir.
the news media is there.
That really moves the guys.
Oh, and it's just, and the family members are there waiting on their veteran to come off the airplane, and we announce their name, and then it's people waving flags and cheering. It's
so you
really,
announce each individual as they come off?
We do. And
sometimes this is the only honor some of them have got.
Absolutely.
And I know later, as you said, as you bring in some of the Vietnam vets, some of them never got that fanfare.
And that's part of the honor of doing this.
Yes, sir.
Is letting them know that we know that their sacrifices are appreciated.
Yes, sir.
And I have to actually convince some of these veterans that they're worthy to go.
Yes,
they'll tell you, they'll look you right in the eye and say, I came home. Why do you want me to go?
Yeah, yeah.
But understand that if you wore the uniform, or one of your family members wore the uniform, you deserve this honor.
Yeah.
So we try to make them understand that you did. It wasn't your selection. If they told you to go in country, you go in country.
The fact that you went.
Yeah, that you
And if nothing
signed
else,
on the line.
represent the one of your friends who didn't come back.
That's exactly right. We had a gentleman that went on the last flight. He wore his naval uniform. He's retired Navy. He wore his naval uniform the whole day. And when we got to the Navy Memorial, he said that. He said, "I'm here for the guys that didn't make it home."
Wow.
And it was a really, really inspiring moment.
Yes, sir. Okay. So let's talk about the geographical coverage of the Veterans Honor Flight of Southern Illinois.
We start at US 50 near Salem, and it runs directly across to Belleville. So we have the Metro East all the way south down to Carroll. That's our geographical fundraising area.
I understand.
So
that you don't get into the other guys.
Yeah, we don't want to take from those other areas. We have taken veterans from the Paducah area.
Yes, sir.
Because they don't have a flight going out of there,
Right.
but we don't raise funds down there on
Right.
purpose. But we have taken veterans down there so they can get to go.
Yes, sir.
The same thing's true for all the way up to Centralia and down to Carroll. Anywhere in between there, we can raise funds in that area. So predominantly, the first few flights have come from the Williamson-Jackson County area fundraising. We focused our fundraising here just because that's where we're all from.
Yes,
we're
sir.
trying to expand and pull people in all the way up to Salem and Mount
Right.
Vernon and Centralia and Belleville, and start pulling those people in.
Right.
Not only to get veterans to go,
But
to
to
get
funds.
volunteers and to get fundraising going too.
Right, because there could just be a great influx.
Yeah.
If you can get, especially if you can get some of those corporate people to plug
Absolutely,
in.
absolutely. That's we've had some, like I said, we've had some great corporate fundraising and local businesses that have said, okay, for this whole month, any business that I have, I'm going to give Honor Flight 10%,
Okay.
and
Awesome.
that's turns into $8,000.
Awesome.
So that that goes right to the bottom line for us of getting these guys. And I told people before, and I'll tell them again, we only use 3.5 cents of every dollar for administrative costs. 96.5 cents of every dollar
Which is
go right
well
to the veteran.
above the national average.
Absolutely. Fundraising, 501(c)(3)
Yeah.
charities. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's great.
Awesome.
It's great.
Now, I know you said you don't have a date yet for the number 3 flight, but your projection is for
April. We're really shooting for April 17th or 24th.
Okay.
But we're waiting on what the airline availability is and the costs associated
Right.
with it. So we're looking at a 3-week window, but we don't want to say,
Yeah, don't want to lock it in
because we can't lock it in yet. We just haven't done that yet.
Okay.
As soon as we do, we'll make an announcement.
Okay. Now, the Veterans Affair, do you guys work with them?
The VA here in Marion, absolutely. We've got connections there, and some of the PR folks there identify veterans that could go.
Oh,
and that's
awesome.
a great
Feeder program for
relationship.
you?
Yes, that's a great relationship for us. As I said previously, you know, the reason I started this was for the guys down at the Veterans Home in Anna. And on the first flight, we had a guy from the Veterans Home go. On the second flight, we had a guy from the Veterans Home go. So why I got into it is actually come to fruition. We are taking those guys down there. And then from that, it's just expanded into the whole region. And every single person that has gone on the flight has, if I see them again, or like I went to the local grade school in my hometown of Harrisburg, I went to a veterans program there the kids put on, and there was a gentleman there that day that had went on the flight in October.
Awesome.
And as soon as he saw me, he started breaking down in tears, and he's like, "It was the best day I ever had."
Wow.
The best day I ever had. So when you get to experience these grown men who served this country and fought in battles,
Right.
and then this is the best day of their life, when they get honored for that,
Yes, sir.
that's pretty good feeling that you
Yes,
get.
sir.
We had a gentleman that went on the first flight who was a CB, and we don't go to the CB Memorial because the parking's not available, and we just don't get to go over there, and it's not a big popular memorial, but he wanted to see it, and our group made arrangements to have him taken there, and his guardian went with him. And then when they came back, his guardian asked him, he said, "How was that? Did that make your day?" And he said, "No, sir, that made my life."
Wow.
And you're like, wow, you know, that's pretty
Yeah,
pretty
huge.
heart-wrenching stuff. But that's the kind of emotion that this evokes is, you know, we tell the guardians in training too, you don't know what you're going to see.
Yes.
You know, it could be elation, it could be sadness, it could be, you know, depressing for them. We just don't know what we're going to get out of this situation. So you got to be prepared for everything.
Yes, sir. You never really know how they're going to respond.
No.
Because everybody's involvement was different. You don't know, what they took from the war. You don't know how they were received when they returned. You don't know the cost.
What baggage they're carrying with them still.
There's so many attributes to that. What does the Veterans Honor Flight of Southern Illinois need from this region to keep going? You want to keep the flights going, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
But what do you need from this region? Let's talk about that for a few
First and
minutes.
foremost, we need to keep the veterans coming in. We want to get we're looking at it from an age standpoint. We want the guys that are in most advanced in age to get to go while they still can. So the World War II guys, the Korea guys, then the Vietnam guys. To date, we've taken 2 flights, and we haven't taken any Vietnam guys because we've filled the flights up with the World War II. We had a gentleman on flight number 1 that was 102 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, he was twice my age at the time, and that's just an amazing thing that he spent the day, and he walked almost all day. Wow. He just got around as good as anybody, joking and cutting up. And,
yes, sir.
And that kind of stuff is, so we're looking to take those guys while we still have the opportunity, and then we'll eventually get to the Vietnam veteran, and as soon as we have space, they'll go. We're not excluding them. We just wanted to get the...
So in other words, if someone dropped out or something for some reason or another...
We have the criteria for being on a flight is, first and foremost, is a terminally ill veteran. If you're terminally ill and you move up, you go. Then we go by conflict, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and so on. So we want to get these guys to the memorials to see what they honored for.
Have you gone through this several times? Have you noticed that the impact doesn't change on you? It just tends to increase, or does it? It's not something you can get numb to, is it?
No. Each individual person. As a bus captain, I usually have, 15 or 20 veterans in my command for the day, and I get to know them personally as the day progresses. And each individual one has an individual story, and I get to hear a little bit of it.
Yes.
And seeing the memorials and being around other veterans and talking about it all day, brings those stories to the top.
Yes.
So we get to hear, the good, the bad. I don't want to let too much out, but we do some things on the return flight that, you know, open that back up for
Yes,
everybody.
sir.
And it's the return flight is really an emotional
Event,
an event. Yeah, I won't let too much out of it because
Yes,
it's
sir.
a secret, but
Yeah.
it really evokes some emotion. And
Okay.
I will not lie, both trips home, I've shed tears on the ride home for
Yes, sir.
myself.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Yeah, it's a
Awesome.
great thing. Each individual can tell stories to the point that, you know, they can go back to they're 19 years old and now they're 92 and they're telling that story and it's fresh in their mind
Yes,
because,
sir.
you know, they haven't talked about it in so long. So they get to revisit that with guys that might have been there with them, you know, when they're telling stories. So it's a good day, and it
Yes,
brings
sir.
back some camaraderie that you know, like you said, you have family that are veterans, and you know there's that camaraderie.
Yes,
No
sir.
matter what service you were in, what time you were serving, there's a camaraderie among veterans,
Right.
and that comes right back out to these guys.
Right. Well, I think it's good that our nation is starting to pay attention to our veterans. So much was lost in the wars overseas. Not just physical loss, but emotional loss, limbs. There's so much baggage, as you said, that comes with that. That a lot of times people just don't realize, you know, and I know some people try and do it cliche, but we thank them for our service. That really means something. I've heard some
does.
of them say, I was in a restaurant, said a gentleman, he stood up and said, thank you for saying it.
Yeah.
Because it means something for people to know that it did matter. It did matter. What I did meant something.
Yeah, wearing the uniform, and I did,
Yes.
does mean something for your entire life. You carry what they teach you from basic training on
Yes, sir.
throughout your life, whether you were, you know, peacetime,
Yes,
4-year service, or if you were wartime and retired from the military, you take that with you forever.
Yes, sir.
You carry your military bearing, I carry my military bearing. It's just something that doesn't go away.
Yes, sir.
And it's an honor to have served. And when somebody tells you that they appreciate it, I tell everybody I see in uniform I appreciate it, or if they're wearing a hat, I try to let them know that I appreciate that service.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And this crosses all services. It does,
Oh, yeah.
whether you're Army, Air Force, Marines,
Coast
Navy,
Guard.
Coast Guard. You know, I've noticed that they tend to respect, like you said, the fact that you did. You know,
Oh,
many
yeah.
of us didn't get to serve, but the ones who made that choice, it's worth honoring.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I tell you guys, doing this Veterans Honor Flight, it's a huge thing because for them to be able to see what has been done in their honor,
Correct.
I can remember we went and my dad looking at the Vietnam thing, you know, and we went and looked at the wall and you could see things and like you said, people who didn't make it back and, you know, everyone that served with them. It's just phenomenal. Of course, DC has so many great things in their museums and things, but those memorials are just awesome.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of these guys have never had either the financial ability or the time or, you know, just never the inclination to
Yeah.
go there.
Yes,
And
sir.
now as we take them as a group, they really get to enjoy and experience as, you know, part of an honor flight,
Yes, sir.
all those things, you know, and we stair step through it and really make a big deal out of it and treat them
Yes, sir.
and honor them.
That is awesome. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the contact information again so people can understand
Sure.
not just, once again, who you are, but what you're representing and what you're trying to do, and then give them your contact information.
Veterans Honor Flight of Southern Illinois, based out of the Veterans Airport of Southern Illinois here in Marion, Williamson County. We're focused to take World War II veterans, Korea veterans, Vietnam veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials that were built in their honor free of charge.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. And to get a hold of us, we have a website, www.veteranshonorflight.org, Facebook page, Veterans Honor Flight, Southern Illinois. We can be reached by phone, 618-993-3353, extension 4, to fill out applications. We have an application process for veterans. Veterans fill out an application to be considered.
Right.
Guardians fill out an application to be considered as a guardian. And then we also have a volunteer list get on there on our website, log on to be a volunteer, just to give us your time.
Yes, sir.
You know, we have a million things to do, and we break it down into little pieces. And if you want to volunteer and be a helper, get on there, and we'll have our volunteer coordinator reach out to you and be a part of this process. We're 6 people as a board, but we 6 people can't do it. It takes hundreds of people, a collective effort to make this thing happen. And we have a great group of people, volunteers and board members and donors. And you got to look at the guardians as well that are willing to give their time and some of their money to go on this trip.
Okay. All right, Mr. Questelle, look at that camera and let them know where they can send their donations if they want to help veterans make it to the memorial.
Yeah, we welcome anybody that wants to be a part of Veterans Honor Flight of Southern Illinois. Please go to our website, www.veteranshonorflight.org. Click on the donate button, be a donor. You can go to any local People's National Bank, donate directly, send a check to 10,200 Terminal Drive in Marion, Illinois, 62959. We'll take $1, we'll take $80,000 because that's how much it costs for one flight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Awesome. So, hey, if your corporation is looking for something positive to do and you want to make an impact on someone's life and you need a great thing, here's something. Bryan Questelle, Chairman of the Board, Directors of the Veterans Honor Flight out of Southern Illinois, right here, based in Marion, and they are taking gentlemen and to the memorials in Washington, D.C. Great thing to do. Honor your veterans, honor those who have done so much for us so that we could be in a nation that has freedom and liberty. Appreciate you. His information, again, is on the screen. If you would like to keep the shows like this going, Post Office Box 1010, Marion, Illinois, 62959, or you can call the station 618-997-4700. They'll actually have someone here who will talk with you and even give you the information again for Bryan so that you can touch base with them. Once again, we appreciate you. Bryan Questelle, Chairman of the Board, Directors for the Honor Flight of Southern Illinois. Once again, it's an honor to be here with you, sir. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you honoring our veterans.
Thank you.
God bless you, and you have a great day,
sir.
sir. Thank you all for watching.
This has been Public Report. Public Report discusses the issues of interest and importance to our viewing area. Please remember that the views expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily represent the views of TCT or the station.